If you have certain amount of money in your bank account and you simply want to double that money, you simply want to increase that money, you simply want to multiply that money to create more value for you, to make you more richer, to create wealth for you, then this video is actually for you. A lot of people actually have a little amount of money in their bank account, and some also have substantial amount of money in their bank account. But in most cases, most of us do not know how to use that money. Most of us do not know how to multiply that money. Most of us do not know the intricacies and the rules of money, how to make one and double it into two. Because what is the essence of putting your money in the bank account and at the end of the day, the money actually is not creating value for you, the money is not yielding any money for you? Because in most cases, banks will only offer you a little amount of money, whereas the large chunk of the money that you actually put in the bank account is actually given out to somebody else in form of a loan, where he's going to pay 38, 24, 34% interest per annum on the money borrowed to the individual. And in most cases, most especially if you are going to, mortgage banks or the buy now pay later or easy buy, or you go for the credit card, they actually charge per month, and in most cases they charge about 4% per month. By the time you multiply 4% per month times 12, that will give you 48%. So if you are the type of person that you are actually borrowing money from the banks, you are paying nothing less than 48% of interest per annum, depending on how long you want to pay that money back. And in most cases, if you actually default in the payment of that money, there's also a penalty you're going to pay. The more you pay, the more your credit scores actually increase. And unfortunately, a lot of us actually believe that credit scores is out there to make you rich, to increase the money that's actually given to you by the banks. That when you actually increase your credit scores, you are actually going to get more money. Unfortunately, credit scores has nothing to add to your value or has nothing to offer you, because what it will only offer you is more payment, more interest, more payment. And unfortunately, a lot of us will find ourselves in this financial danger zone, and a lot of people are actually regretting their lives because of these loans, because of these credit facilities, because of this credit card, buy now, pay later, and they are unable to pay this money. And each time they default, they are actually being sanctioned for their defaults. For you to actually be able to increase the value of your money, you need to understand how to use money. Money is actually a tool, and as a tool, it must be put into operation. As a tool, it must be made to work for you. As a tool, it should grow for you. As a tool, you should be able to send money messages, and money will turn back to give something back to you in form of profit or return. Somebody told me one thing, that as an individual, you should be able to attract money to yourself, not you actually pursuing money, because that is the scenario that we find ourselves today. Everybody is actually pursuing money, but at the end of the day, nobody is making anything at the end. People are pursuing money, not forgetting the fact that money is supposed to look for them, and that is the secret of money. Money is supposed to locate you, not you pursuing money, as in most cases where people find themselves. So you need to understand one thing, that money is a tool, and as a tool, you must put it into operation. Money is actually a spirit, it's a mammon, and it does not like to be stagnant, it does not like to be put into place. It likes to be used for value creation. It likes to be put into operation. It likes to work. It likes to generate more value. And that is why, if you are one of the people that is actually keeping money in the bank, and that money is actually not yielding anything at the end of the day, then this video is actually what you need at the end of the day. The art of actually putting money to work is called the art of investing money. So when you put money into work, when you put money into operation, when you allow money to work for you, when you allow money to bring in value for you, it's actually called the act of investing money. So if money is creating value for you, if money is actually creating multiplier effect for you, and money is actually doubling for you, then you are actually doing the right thing, because you are actually investing your money. Now, somebody will ask me, what are the various forms of investment? There are so many ways you can actually invest, which I'm still going to talk about in this video. There are different ways you can actually invest your money in order to make more money. Even when you are not working, your money is actually working for you. This is a secret that is being used by the wealthy class or the rich class in our society, and this secret actually makes them to be very wealthy at the end of the day. Even when they are not working, even when they are not doing anything, even when they are sleeping, their money is actually working for them. If you want to make more money, if you want to become wealthy, if you want to achieve what I call financial independence and financial freedom, then this video is what you actually need, that's going to help you at the end of the day. If you want to invest your money, if you want to make your money to double for you, if you want to make your money to create more value for you, the first thing you need to do is to pay your debt. A lot of people today are highly indebted. They find themselves in financial danger zone. They find themselves in a very tight corner because of the level of debt or because of the tsunami of debt. I've actually seen some people that, year in, year out, they're always indebted, borrowing money, and some people even take borrowing money as a form of hobby, as something that they needed to do. Like, so one of a friend of mine actually told me that, that now that he's actually working, this is the time that he has the opportunity to borrow money. And he has been borrowing money for over a long period of years. And unfortunately, all the money that he has actually borrowed over a long period of years has not actually played any value in his life. So he's actually doing the right thing at the wrong time. Because money is actually a tool, and you must put it into operation. And you also understand the fact that when you borrow money, you are paying interest. And in this part of the world now, paying interest is a very big amount of money. If you are borrowing money from many financial mortgage institutions now, they are going to charge you a lot of money. Right now, it's about 34 to 38%. In advanced country, it's not like that. The situation is not like that. It's far, in fact, it is very, very low. But in developing countries like ours, the system is very, very high. The interest is very, very high. So in advanced countries, about 2 to 4% if you are taking a loan. But in developing countries like Nigeria, which is an example, you are paying 34 to 38%. Reason? Because of the high level of inflation. And high interest rates is one of the ways through which government can actually control the inflow of money into the economy. But unfortunately, it is not favorable to people, most especially the middle class and the lower class. And that's why today, a lot of them are actually paying a lot of money back in form of interest on the money borrowed to them. When you actually pay all your debts, which is very important, you actually save yourself a lot of money. Number one, the money you save yourself is the default. When you default, you pay more money. Number two is that when you actually borrow pay up your money in time, bank will actually reduce the interest you are supposed to pay on that money, which is at the end of the day very favorable to you. Imagine you are paying a certain amount of money for a period of 1 year, and after 6 months you are able to finish paying that money. That means that the remaining interest for the 6 months will not be charged to you. You only pay the principal amount which you have actually borrowed from the bank. And this is a very good system. And one of the ways you can actually pay back this money is what we call the avalanche method or the snowball method. When you talk about the avalanche method simply means that you are paying your debt from the highest to the lowest. When you talk about the snowball effect, you are paying from the lowest to the highest. So avalanche means you are paying from the highest to the lowest. Snowball effect means you are paying from the lowest to the highest. So whichever one you actually choose is actually good for you, because at the end of the day, you are going to pay up all your debts. Debt actually attracts a lot of interest. It attracts a lot of money. But when you actually pay these debts in good time, it reduces the amount of money you are going to pay. Number two thing you need to do if you want to invest your money, if you want to double your money, is to keep your money in cash. Keeping your money in the bank account attracts little amount of interest. For example, if you actually put your money in high yield interest accounts, they might actually, if they are very compassionate and reasonable, they may give you maybe 2 to 4% interest per annum. When you compare that to investment, this amount of money is still very, very small, but it's better. Instead of you to leave that money in an account that is not yielding anything at all, you can put that money into a high yield interest account where certain amount of money will be paid to you at the end of the day, which is quite understandable, rather than leaving that money in savings account where nothing is given to you at the end of the day. So if you want to know more about the high yield interest account, you can actually approach your bank and ask them that what kind of an account, a savings account, you can actually put your money that will yield some percentage of money for you at the end of the day, and your bank will advise you. And at the end of the day, instead of putting that money in the savings account where no interest will be given to you, then you can put that money into the savings account that has what higher yield interest, where you are going to be paying some certain amount of money in form of returns. Why I said high yield interest account is because at the end of the day you're going to get something. But if you put your money in that bank account where it's not even yielding any interest at all, it is not yielding any interest, it is not creating any value, it is not doubling your money, and also you may end up spending that money. But it's still better for you to actually invest your money, because when you invest your money, you are best assured that you're going to get 8 to 20% returns per annum, depending on where you're actually investing your money. If you are investing your money in mutual funds or balance funds or fixed income funds or maybe euro bonds or dollar funds or ALA funds or whichever funds you're actually putting your money into, you are best assured that you're going to have about 8 to 20% return per annum. For example, also if you actually put your money in a balance funds, you are best assured that you're going to get 42% returns per annum, only that the risk is very, very higher. Number 3 thing you can actually do if you want to double your money is to put your money in the stock market. Right now, the stock market is doing very well in Nigeria and it's getting a lot of people a lot of profit at the end of the day. For you to actually put your money in the stock market, you can actually be what I call an active investor or a passive investor. When you're talking about an active investor is actually someone that has an idea about the stock market. He has an idea about the research, about the profitability, the history of the stock and the rest of them. That is the stocks you're trying to invest your money. When you're actually a passive investor, it means that you don't have much of a idea about how the stock actually operates. You are not fully involved, probably because you are busy or you're engaged in other activities. So because of that, you put in that money into that investment and you forget the money. The money is using some percentage of interest for you at the end of the day. Now, the percentage of interest it actually is for you is quite lower compared to being an active investor. As an active investor, you put in your money, you sell, you buy, at any point in time, you can make a lot of money and you can also lose your money. But if you are actually a passive investor, your money is well secured, though your returns are lower. So an active investor, risk is higher and returns are higher. But passive investor, risk is lower and the returns is also lower. For you to succeed in investment, you must be consistent, you must be passive, and you must also be automatic, because it's actually a decade of sacrifice. If you are actually an active investor, you must keep buying. If you are also a passive investor, you must also keep investing. The more you buy, the more money you make. So you must always be buying, which is what I call ABB. You must always be buying. So you must be willing to go through what I call the decade of sacrifice, and you must be consistent, you must be passive, and you must also be automatic. Another way through which you can actually double your money is what I call real estate. Real estate is booming in Nigeria now, and a lot of people are taking advantage of this situation. And you should also be part of people that will take advantage of the situation and make a lot of money for yourself. For you to invest in real estate, you can be an active real estate investor, or you can be what I call a passive real estate investor. If you are a passive real estate investor, it means that you are putting your money into crowded fund or crowd-funded real estate, which is passive in nature. And as an active real estate investor, you are actually buying into investment in real estate individually, as against what I call the crowd-funded real estate. So real estate is moving, is booming, is growing in Nigeria, and you can also take advantage of this and make more money at the end of the day. But right now, I'm investing into what I call the money market funds and the balance funds, and hopefully, maybe in the next few months, I'll be looking to what we call the fixed bond. So the choice is actually yours, what you wanted for yourself. But before you do this, you need to approach your investment portfolio manager that will advise you professionally on where you can invest your money and make more money or returns at the end of the day. Another area where you can actually invest your money and make more money and double your money and make your money to work for you and make your money to create value for you is what I call speculative assets. You could also invest your money into speculative assets. You could also invest your money into speculative assets. When I talk about speculative assets, I'm talking about cryptocurrency, I'm talking about startups, I'm talking about trading cards and the rest of them. You see, speculative assets in Nigeria is growing every day and people are taking advantage of it. But please, if you don't have an idea, if you don't have or you don't know how the market actually operates, don't put your money into speculative assets, because speculative assets are very, very risky. It could go up today and it could diminish at any point in the time. It can crash at any time. A lot of people have actually invested their money into speculative assets and they have made money, and a lot of people have actually also put their money into speculative assets and they have lost a lot of money. So before you actually put your money into any form of investment, make sure you approach your portfolio investment manager. Make sure you are grounded in what I call financial education. Make sure you have an idea about it so that at the end of the day, you are not going to regret your action. For you to invest in speculative assets, you can actually start with a little amount of money. It doesn't necessarily mean that your money should be high before you can start investing. Even with a little amount of money, you can still invest your money. But take note, the market can crash at any time. Another area where you can invest your money and make more money and make higher returns at the end of the day is starting your own business. A lot of people, in Nigeria now, they are always afraid of starting their own business, and that's why everybody is looking for, job here, job here, job here, job here, looking for what to, the kind of job they can do. But unfortunately, these jobs are actually scarce and there are no jobs in the market. And that's why we have so many graduates in society. That's why we have a lot of people scrambling for fewer jobs in our society, because people are not willing to start their own business. But I can tell you that you can actually start your own business. And when you start your own business, there's every guarantee that if you give that business time, if you are more dedicated, if you are more hardworking, if you are very proactive, if you are resilient, if you are very hardworking, if you are very productive, that business is going to grow at the end of the day. So you can start your own business. And starting your own business does not necessarily mean that you need to have millions of naira before you can start. You can start your own business. Like for example, now I was talking to some guys some few days back, and we're talking about what kind of business you can actually do that can make you more money. And I came to realize that you don't necessarily need to have a shop before you can start your own business. Like some people tell you, I need to have a shop, I need to buy materials, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, we don't need to do that. We are now in a digital age. Even at the comfort of your home, you can start your business. You see? Now let me give an example of business you can actually do that you can make more money at the end of the day. What about a kind of business where you are actually selling clothes? You go out there, you negotiate and meet with those people that are selling those materials. They will give you a form, you pay some certain amount of money, they will give you a form, you become their member. Anytime they have products in the market, they will send you the pictures of those products. You advertise it on the various social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the rest of them. You advertise it and you tell people the price, and they can start. Before you know it, people will begin to patronize you. You don't necessarily need to engage or move to anywhere. Just pay that money, register yourself, pay the money, they send information to you. You put the information on your platform, people get to know about it, and those that are actually interested, they can order those products from you. When they order, you send the money to the wholesaler. The wholesaler with the address and information. The wholesaler will transfer the product to the owners. You see? And at the end of the day, you make your profit. The wholesaler also makes profit, and everybody is happy. Do you see now? So we're now in a digital age that you don't need or necessarily need a shop, or you don't necessarily need a warehouse for you to start a business. There are some certain businesses that can actually start. At the end of the day, you make more money. And I can tell you, if your business can actually succeed for a period of 5 years, you are good to go, because that is a situation where your business at that point in time has become much stronger. And I know some people today that they are making millions of money, they are making a lot of money through their own businesses. They are not working for anybody. How about if you are even riding, this Uber or driving cars for somebody out there like Uber or a Lag Ride or any of this, this online driving platform. You are driving, you get your returns, the company get the returns, you split the profit at the end of the day. You are making money for yourself. The car is your own. You go out there, you register it, you drive the car, you make the money, you share the profit, you make more money for yourself. I remember an Uber guy actually took me one day and he was driving me to a particular destination, and we entered into a discussion, and I asked him how far with the business. And he told me that if at all he was called up for an interview to come and work for somebody, he will never go. And I asked him why. He said over time, he has been able to save a lot of money, he has been able to raise a lot of money. He makes a lot of money that every day he can eat whatever he likes without necessarily struggling for how he can get the money. And he told me that if actually he's being called for an interview, he will never go, because he's making more money than even somebody working in the office. You can see that is self-employment. So a lot of people need to wake up and understand what are the things that the society actually need, and they can provide solutions to those problems. And at the end of the day, when you do that, you are making money for yourself. So there are so many ways you can make money, because money likes to be used. Money doesn't like to be stagnant. Money doesn't like to be a dust. Money doesn't like to stay in one place. Money likes to move around. And when you're the type that you're making money to move around, money will create more value for you. Money will double for you. Money will give more value for you. Money is going to give you more wealth. Money is going to make you very wealthy. It's going to make you very, very rich. It's not about sitting down and thinking what you can actually do. And that's why I always recommend that you need to have what I call a thinking room in your house, where you are alone in that room, and you are thinking for at least 30 minutes. When you are thinking, ideas will be coming to your head, and as they are coming, you write them down. And when you write them down, what do? You work towards implementing those ideas that come into your head. And I can bet you, when you put them into operation, there's every possibility you are going to make it at the end of the day. So money is a spirit, and it likes to also be put into operation or working. I hope you have actually gained something in this video. If you have actually gained something in this video, please subscribe to the channel now and share this video, and don't forget to leave your comment on how I can actually serve you better. Till I see you next time, thank you all, and God bless you. Bye bye.